Time for the boxing world to stop ignoring the obvious elephant in the room. Canelo Alvarez clearly wants no part of David Benavidez. He clearly has no interest and zero desire in fighting him. And I believe this is very bad for the sport, very bad for Canelo Alvarez, bad for Benavidez, obviously. I think it needs to be addressed more. You know, when you look at the sport of boxing, you look at what's been happening in the last few years, everyone's been accused of ducking everyone. Canelo's been accused of ducking multiple fighters in his career. When you look at all the other elite fighters in the sport, they've all had ducking accusations, etc. But I think this is the first time in late recent years regarding Canelo Alvarez where I feel he's blatantly ducking an opponent. Now, obviously, we all know and can all acknowledge that Canelo Alvarez waited out Triple G. He didn't duck him, but he waited him out, waited him to get older, and then fought him at not necessarily the ideal time, but at a better time. Canelo's been accused of ducking many guys. He's been accused of ducking Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, obviously Triple G, and a few others. However, I never felt he was scared of Charlo. I never felt he was scared of Andrade. And I believe he would fight those guys in a heartbeat. He's rumored to fight Charlo in May. He just fought the other Charlo in September. However, I feel this is the first time in a while where Canelo Alvarez is genuinely ducking an elite opponent that he should be fighting. David Benavidez has clearly, undeniably, undoubtedly earned his shot at Canelo Alvarez. If there was any doubt previously in 2022, all those doubts have been completely removed and eliminated. You know, when you look at what Benavidez did prior to 2023, even though it's kind of absurd to say he didn't earn a Canelo Alvarez fight, knowing that Canelo Alvarez gave John Ryder and Avni Yildirim fights, as well as Rocky Fielding, I think accusing anyone of not earning a Canelo fight is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of silly. But if you guys wanted to make that case and wanted to argue that back then, you can do so. Just want to throw that over there. You can't do that with David Benavidez in 2023. If you look at what he did this year, first of all, he was a top 5 fighter of the year candidate easily. Easily top 5. I actually had him top 3, I believe. I believe I had him right behind Inouye and Crawford. I believe I had him at number 3. Maybe I had him at number 4. I believe I had him at 3 because I had him above Devin Haney, actually, due to the fact I felt Haney lost to Loma. He beat Caleb Plant, which is a really solid win. One of Canelo Alvarez's best wins, Benavidez defeated, in a fight that people have been wanting to see for a long time as well. And then after that, he did something that Canelo hasn't done, something that people have wanted to see Canelo do for a bit, and that was take out Demetrius Andrade. A lot of people wanted to see Canelo fight Andrade for a while. A lot of people didn't really care about that fight too much, but there was a nice little niche of boxing fans that really wanted Canelo to fight Andrade. And that was always a rumored fight for Canelo. I mean, he was one belt away from going undisputed at 160, and he would have gone undisputed if he fought Andrade because he would have beaten him. So he was still undefeated Andrade. He was a good fighter, respectable name, and Benavidez absolutely made a statement. It was one of the best performances any fighters had in 2023. It was a tremendous outing from Benavidez. It was a fight we were all looking forward to as well, between two undefeated fighters. Benavidez got the job done, and I felt after defeating Demetrius Andrade, he 100% deserves a shot at Canelo Alvarez. And it's kind of unfair to Benavidez because you look at it now that Canelo Alvarez is likely going to fight Jermall in May and Crawford in September, which I think should not be happening, even though it's a mega fight. If you want to fight Crawford, fight him after Benavidez. When you look at Canelo having basically his entire 2024 tied up, what's next for David Benavidez? I mean, a lot of people are saying David Morrell. If I'm Benavidez, I am avoiding Morrell like the plague, and here's why. Morrell is a very high-risk, low-reward opponent, especially when you have a Canelo Alvarez fight possibly happening in 2025. I mean, the fact that it's not going to happen in 2024 most likely is ridiculous. Do not fight David Morrell. That is a high-risk, low-reward fight. That's a very losable fight for Benavidez. That's a fight he can definitely lose. I would pick him to win, but I would not be surprised at all if Morrell beat him. I really wouldn't be. Do not fight David Morrell. If I'm Benavidez, what I'm going to do in 2024 is, if he fights twice, which is ideal, take on Jaime Munguia, get the Munguia fight done, because that's a good name. If you beat Jaime Munguia, it's just going to completely decimate anyone saying that Benavidez doesn't deserve a fight at Canelo. I mean, this guy beats Plant, then Andrade, then Munguia. I mean, he's taking out all of Canelo's possible opponents that he's not going to fight. Take on Munguia, beat him. If you fight one more time before the year ends, maybe take... I don't know if I would fight a tougher opponent or softer touch. Honestly, maybe fight Munguia later in the year, fight him in September, October, and fight a slightly softer touch in May or so. Get that win in May, beat Munguia at the end of the year, and then set up a Canelo Alvarez fight. It is absolutely ridiculous that Canelo Alvarez hasn't given David Benavidez a fight yet. This is the only fight that I've wanted for Canelo since after Bivol, before Triple G, the third Triple G fight. This is the fight that should have been made. The fact that Canelo Alvarez is clearly avoiding him and leapfrogging him. And the thing is, he's not even fighting the guys we want to see him fight. We just saw him fight a Charlo. I understand it's Jamal and not Jermell, but can you mix it up a little bit? Can you give us, a little bit more? I mean, we don't want to see you fight Jermell and then Jamal. No one wants to see that. I mean, we don't need the Charlos to get this type of fight. What has Jamal done to get a Canelo fight over Benavidez? What has Jamal done? He beat Jose Benavidez, who's moving up 2 weight classes. Prior to that, he hadn't fought in years. And when he did fight, it was against Montiel, the same Montiel Adames was able to decimate in 3 rounds. What has Charlo done to get a Canelo Alvarez fight? I understand if Canelo wanted to fight Charlo in May and then Benavidez in September, and it was agreed upon, and he wanted one more fight before Benavidez, fine. But to fight Crawford after, I love Terrence Crawford. He's probably my favorite fighter in the sport at this point. He's pound for pound top 2 easily, at worst top 2 right now. If you want to put him at 3, it's kind of unfair, but I don't think it's terrible to put him at 3, but you cannot put him any lower than that. I have him at 2, very close to being number 1. I love Crawford, and I think he's a tremendous talent, but you're bringing Crawford 3 weight classes up, man. And I know Crawford's the one calling for the fight. He called Canelo out, not the other way around. Canelo never had any interest in fighting Crawford. He's almost being pushed into a Crawford fight. But trust me when I say, if we're honest boxing fans, would rather see Benavidez get the Canelo fight. He is in Canelo's weight class. He's a great fighter. He's earned his way to a Canelo Alvarez fight. It's ridiculous that he hasn't gotten the Canelo Alvarez fight yet. And I understand that back in 2022, back in 2021, years ago, even earlier than that, a lot of people were asking for Canelo Benavidez, and I understand when people were saying, we don't really need to see it, whatever. Time has passed. Canelo Alvarez has removed a lot of the guys that we've wanted to see him fight, and Benavidez has continued to win and has continued to impress. The reason Canelo doesn't want to fight Benavidez is because I think Canelo Alvarez knows that he probably missed the boat. If he fought Benavidez 2 years ago, even a year and a half ago, he probably would have gotten the job done. He probably would have gotten the victory. But I think Canelo waited a little too long. He let too much time pass, and now it's at a point where he can never beat David Benavidez. Because now Benavidez has surpassed Canelo Alvarez in the way where I would pick him to beat Canelo. And the only thing that's going to happen is Canelo's going to keep getting older, and Benavidez is going to keep getting closer to his prime and getting stronger and more experienced. It's at a point where Canelo Alvarez has missed the boat. I feel that's what happened. And trust me, Canelo Alvarez is one of the best fighters when it comes to knowing when to fight opponents, fighting opponents at the right time. I mean, he fought Triple G, waited the perfect time to fight Triple G. He knew exactly what he was doing. And he knows if he fights Benavidez, it's going to be like a reverse of the whole Triple G saga, where Canelo Alvarez is the guy that's slowing down a little bit, and he's fighting this dominant, hungry, prime fighter. He knows that he missed the boat, I feel. I know this is a bit of a bold take, but he knows that Benavidez is at a point where the gap between, so this is Canelo, this is Benavidez, right? Canelo was always above Benavidez. Benavidez tightened it up. Now Benavidez is like a little above Canelo, and now it's just going to separate. The reason it's going to keep separating, as I said, is because Benavidez is getting closer to his prime. What is he, 27 years old, 28 years old? What's Canelo, 33, something in that range? It's ridiculous. Canelo Alvarez should give Benavidez a fight, but he's not gonna. It's a shame. It makes the sport of boxing look bad. That's the only fight Canelo should make. If he somehow didn't fight Benavidez, the only other alternative is if he fought someone like Bivol or Beterbiev. That's it. Not even if he fought David Morrell, I wouldn't like it due to the fact that Benavidez has earned it over someone like Morrell. It should be David Benavidez. It's a shame that it isn't. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Who do you think wins the fight? Why do you think Canelo is clearly avoiding Benavidez? Because it's getting to a point now where it's inexcusable. There's literally no defending it because there's only one fight we want to see. It's Benavidez, and he told us who he's fighting in 2024 and literally told us that it would be 2 opponents and neither of them were Benavidez. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't want that Benavidez fight. It's a damn shame. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one. God bless. I'll see you guys later. Peace.